website www.henrythejedi.com, the only website on the net that provides you training products and amazing free video tutorials that will make you believe in yourself. Welcome to another great training tutorial. Today we are going to be taking a look at a nice tutorial which needs a bit of an introduction. Okay, the introduction goes like this. Imagine you were your local town in your city was trying to get hold of the city's most wanted criminal, and maybe not just the most wanted criminal, but let's say the city was having a problem with street racing. Yes, you know what I'm talking about, illegal street racing. So just imagine the chief of your police station came to ask you to help them to find your city's most wanted criminal, and you couldn't really think of a better way to help them other than to use none other than After Effects so that you could locate, find, and destroy that criminal. Okay. So in other words, you promise your police officer that, Mr. Officer, you know what, I'm going to be a good citizen of this nation. I'm going to use After Effects and its creative tools to give us a way so that we can find down, or we can track down, this most wanted individual. So in other words, what you're going to be creating today is a satellite navigation system using Adobe After Effects, the industry standard in motion graphics. So here is a look at what we'll be creating today. So yep, you saw it right there. As you can see, we'll be creating a GPS tracking system using a satellite navigation kind of design so that we can help the police find this most wanted individual throughout our city. Of course, as you can see, we are going to be, that most wanted criminal happens to be living in the DRC, which is actually the country where I come from. So the police has given us some information to tell us that the criminal is in fact in the Congo, and he stays specifically in the city of Kinshasa. So as you can see, we are going to be using After Effects to create this amazing satellite navigation tool. Now, before we continue further, I hope NASA will not kill us, because we don't even have access. Some of us don't even have enough money to buy our own satellite systems yet. But using After Effects, we can make something out of nothing, so that we can help the police find this criminal. Okay, let's get started. Then import our footage by going to File, Import, File, and then select our Istanbul layer. Actually, this is an image of Istanbul, but we're going to use other sort of labels for the location on which you will be. Okay, so it's a beautiful image taken, I believe, from NASA. I don't know, I'm not sure. Yeah, taken from a very high altitude above space indeed. Okay, let's close that. So let's import that into our new composition, and then simply drag it to the composition window to create a new composition. As you can see, the dimensions are 1280 by 720. Next, we'll need to create the composition which will hold the satellite navigation tools. Okay, so to do that, we'll go to Composition, New Composition, and then let's call this composition as Satellite Navigation, or you can always call it SatNav if you like. Okay, and then we change the width to 5120, because we are really going to be using a very big composition, so that we don't this will be so big that it won't we won't run out of space. Okay, so click OK once you've done that. Let's turn off our transparency tool there. And then we need to create a new solid by going to Layer, New Solid. Yeah, and then we're gonna call the first one SatNav. Let's see, horizontal. Okay, this will hold the space of our horizontal satellite navigation. Let's change its color to white. Click OK, and then we are going to squash it down by a lot. Sorry. And then we need to change its scale by bringing down its options. Under transform, select the scale, and then let's change the scale to 530. Let's uncheck the lock, and then yeah, we're gonna change the first value to 530, the second one 0.6%. okay, so now we have this very long bar that you can see there as it stretches. Okay, when we zoom in further we can see what it looks like. Okay, so we select our sat nav layer and then we go to edit, duplicate, or press Ctrl D on the keyboard. This should make a copy of it. Okay, select the second one and then press enter, and then rename the second satellite navigation layer to sat nav vertigo. I like the word vertigo because even Bono used it on their song, because they saw Bono or U2 Vertigo Tour, so I like that title. So select the vertigo layer and then press R on the keyboard to bring up the rotation settings, and then change the rotation to 90. Okay, so now you can see we have two layers, both of which are very long. As you can see, they're shown in those red or rather pink looking colors. You can see they're so big they really stretch out into way outside of the composition. Next we need to create the layer which will act as the focus point, like a particular circle. So to do that we go to layer, new, solid again, let's leave it to white, click OK, and then select on our drawing panel, select the elliptical mass tool and then hold shift and then drag until you create this nice looking circle. Okay, we hold shift so that we get a perfect circle. Okay, we don't want an ellipse but we really want a circle, so shift allows us to do that. And then let's simply bring down by pressing the down arrow on the keyboard, or simply select the white solid and then press P on the keyboard. Yeah, simply bring down this layer, and then with the layer still selected we are going to once more select our elliptical mass tool and then once more hold shift and then drag from somewhere around the center of our layer like that. Okay, and then press MM on the keyboard to bring up the mask settings. Select the second mask that we've just created and then say subtract. So this gives us an open area there. Select the mask 2 and then bring it up using the keyboard arrows on the keyboard so that it acts as a nice circle there. And then let's see. Yeah, I think we are more or less getting what we want. And then if this mask was a bit too small for our liking, let's see. Yeah, we simply expand the mask so that it gives us more room to work with, or we can always reduce it. Let's select mask 1, reduce its expansion also so that we get that nice looking circle in between. Okay, so yeah, I think we're almost done, more or less done with the satellite navigation options. Okay, we can always click that button to see what it looks like right there. Again, if this is too big we can always reduce its scale to something like that. Okay, maybe to 52%. Okay, so let's save this quickly. File, save as, I'm gonna call mine Qt12 set nav. Okay, now we need to begin to manipulate our image. So we double click on our Istanbul layer. Okay, and then we are going to go to Effect, Generate, Grid. Okay, sorry, we don't need to apply it on our Istanbul layer. I'm going to turn off my transparency tool, select our grid and press delete. We don't want to apply the grid there. We need to create a new layer to contain the grid, so we'll go to layer, new, solid, let's call it grid. So the grid will act as our grids that you usually see on those satellite images. Okay, we can leave its color to white and then the width and the height are fine like that. And then we go to Effect, Generate, Grid. Okay, now this makes grids for us. We'll change the settings as follows. Corner, okay, we can leave it at 7, 5, 8 and so forth. Border, let's enter 3, okay, to make them thinner. Feather, we'll make it 1.4 and 1.4. The feathering sort of makes the edges of the grid smoother, okay. And then I think we need to change the anchor point to 750 or so. And the second value for the anchor, we change it to 414. Press enter. So now we get this grid object created for us, okay. And then we need to add a bit of glow to this grid. So we go to Effect, Stylize, Glow, okay. This will make it sort of glow a bit in the dark, just to enhance our scene. And then we change the glow radius to 118%, okay, so that it's not too much glow, but it's just a bit of glow anyways, okay. Next, we need to color correct our layer so that it looks more like it's dark, much like in the movies usually see it's a dark blue kind of scene when a satellite is actually zooming into an earthly atmosphere, okay. So what we do is we create a new adjustment layer. We go to Layer, New, Adjustment Layer. An adjustment layer is, of course, a layer which contains settings which affect all the other layers behind them, okay. So with our adjustment layer, we add some of the following effects, okay. We go to Effect, color correction rather, tint, okay, to tint down our layer. For now, we are going to change its color that we'll use later to a dark red, but we'll change the amount to tint to 0 so that it doesn't affect it yet, okay. And then we need to also bring or still working on the color correction of our footage, we need to change the curviness of the colors. We go to Effect, Color Correction, Curves, and then let's bring it just down a bit like that and like that, okay, just to bring some darkness to our image. And then we also add Effect, Color Correction, CC Toner, okay. What CC Toner will allow us to do is get this darker looking scene. And then the midtones, of course, we need to change it to a light blue. There we go, there we go. So already we are getting the results we are more or less looking for, okay. And then finally, we also need to add a particular blur and sharpen, box blur, that we are going to use as we zoom into a particular scene or a particular area in our scene, okay. Just one setting we need to change is the grid. We need to change its transfer mode to soft light. Where is it? Soft light. There we go. Yeah, now it appears as if it's within, or rather contained with, the rest of the map, okay. And then we need to bring our satellite navigation tools by simply dragging it into our composition. There we go. As you can see, if it's too big, we can always reduce it, okay. Let's see. So as you can see, in our case, our circles and our bars are just too big for our map. So this is the cool feature with After Effects. We simply double click on the satellite navigation composition, and then we simply change the scale of each of these to suit our need. Let's say we reduce this particular one scaling to 19% or so, and we simply try to put it in the middle there. What does it look like when we go back to our Istanbul layer? There we go, it's getting better. We can always reduce it all the way to 8% or so. And then these two layers, press S also for them. Reduce the scaling. Yeah, I reduced mine to 140. Okay, still going down. 118%. Our white solid is moving up a bit. Go back to our Istanbul layer. Much better. Now this, I think this is the one will be end up working on. And then we might just want to reduce further the scaling of the white solid. Let's rename it to focus, because it will act as the focal point that we'll be using to focus or to zoom into a particular object in our scene. Go back to our Istanbul layer. Yeah, it's looking much better now. Next, we need to duplicate our satellite navigation layer by going to Edit, Duplicate, so that we have two copies of them. And then we're going to rename the one we duplicated to satellite nav double, press enter, then bring it below the original one, okay, and then let's change the parent of the satellite nav double to the satellite navigation, or you can always select it from the drop down menu there, okay, so that now wherever the satellite navigation button goes, the sat nav double also follows, okay. And then we need to turn all these layers into 3D layers by checking the 3D layer option, or you can always select all the layers, right click, and then say 3D layer, okay. Next, we need to add a tool which will help us when we transition between our satellite images, okay. So we're going to layer, new, solid. We're going to call it transition, okay. Press enter, and then we're going to add a ramp effect to it. We're going to effect, generate, ramp. We'll change the start color position to somewhere here, okay, a bit up, and then the end of ramp to somewhere there, yeah, more or less like that. Blend with original, let's leave it at 0, and then let's change its transfer mode to add. There we go. That's what it gives us so far, okay. So as you can see, we can always move the position of this particular settings. So this guy, we'll need him later, so let's collapse a bit our settings. So we are going to reduce his length because we'll only need him somewhere later in our scene, okay. We can even turn him off for now or move him ahead of time, okay. Still working on the assets that we'll be using to animate our scene. Next, we need to create what is called the layers which will contain the name of the city onto which we'll be zooming in, okay. Since this is After Effects, well, we have the power to do anything we want. So I decided, you know what, I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, so I'm just going to name the cities according to the names of the cities that I know of, okay? So I don't mean to offend anyone who's from Turkey in Istanbul. Sorry, this is a creative tutorial after all. Yeah, so to do that, we're going to composition, new composition, call it Congo, because it will contain the word Congo in it, and then let's change the height to, or the width to 700, and then the height to 300. Click OK, and then in here we go to layer, new, solid. Click OK. You don't need to worry much about its name. Select the rectangular mask tool and then double click. Okay, now it gives you this yellow mask all around it, and then we go to Effects, Generate, Ramp once more. Let's change the end value to something dark. No, sorry. I think it can do well as it is, okay? Let's select the mask and then go to Effect, Generate, Stroke. Change the stroke width to something higher. And then with press M on the keyboard, actually, select the mask, and then select from the drawing tool, select the delete or rather the add vertex tool, okay, and then click at one edge here, and then click also on that particular edge, and then select the delete vertex tool and then delete that last vertex there. So now it gives us this cut edge over there, okay, and then we just need to add our text there. Congo, I'm gonna call mine DR Congo, okay, the Democratic Republic of Congo, that is. Beautiful country, it's forever green throughout the year, nice vegetation, you know, it's really a nice place to be in, okay. Yeah, let's scale it up. Scale it down a bit further. I'm using a backlash font, so let's choose it to something else, or rather Arial Black. No, Tahoma, I think. Yeah, that should do. Yeah, position it there. If your text doesn't have an outline, a dark outline like mine has, simply tell it to have an outline color of black, and then change the outline width by changing those values there. As you can see, it gives us a darker outline now. Okay, and then we just need another layer just to act as just to enhance, to act a bit fancy by enhancing our scene. Click OK, select the rectangular mask tool, and then simply, yeah, draw it at the corner there. Yeah, just like that. So yeah, we are done with the Congo layer. So this will be the layer to tell us which city, which country you are zooming into. And then after that, we need to create another composition which will hold Kinshasa as the name of the city that will be zooming into. So we simply select the Congo layer and then go to Edit, Duplicate, so that it gives us 2 Congos. Select the second one and then press Enter. Call it Kinshasa. That's the name of the city I'm actually from. Double click it. Go back to the layer and then change DR Congo to Kinshasa. Sorry, Kinshasa. There we go. I'm gonna turn off my caps lock. There we go. If they seem a bit too together, we can always reduce the stroke settings. Yeah, that should do. And then finally, not finally rather, but the next asset we need is that particular fancy counter that will appear at the top there, which will be generating random values to act as if we are busy, like the satellite is really busy trying to zoom in onto a particular location. Okay, now let me show you a cool trick that I found out the other day. Once more, select our Congo layer, go to Edit, Duplicate, and then select the Congo 2 layer, press Enter. Sorry, press Enter to rename it. Call it GPS. Okay, this will contain random values that will be generated by the computer. So go to the GPS layer, select our white solid 2 layer, and then press R on the keyboard so that we can rotate it the other way. Sorry, press Ctrl Z. Yeah, we are simply, sorry, actually press S for its scale, I believe. Let's see, if we try to change one of the values to -100, nah, it ain't gonna work like that. Uncheck the lock and then press enter -100 for the scale of the first value. Yeah, as you can see, it automatically turned our layer to the other way. Okay, so that now this edge is facing that way. Okay, let's quickly change a few settings by going to composition settings. Let's change its width to 900 and its height to 200. Press Enter. Okay, select our solid white solid 2 layer and then press Ctrl Alt F on the keyboard. So now this fits it into the composition. This gap is a bit too wide, this gap here, so we simply move it closer like that. And the stroke is a bit too much for our liking, so we reduce the stroke brush size to something smaller. Yeah, more or less like that. Okay, once more we enter a negative number for the first value of the scale so that it faces the other way, and again you can always bring down that particular side of our layer and bring it up a bit. Yeah, and then once you've done that, double click on our DR Congo layer, and then we are going to enter N so that it indicates the north direction. I don't know if you've done geography, but this is how you measure things. This is how you measure this is how you point out the position of things on Earth. Okay, using what is it, polar coordinate or so. Yeah, select the yellow solid 2 and then simply press delete. We don't need it there. Select our NE text and then just squash it down a bit so that it fits in here. Let's bring it down a bit. Select our white solid once more. Change the ramp's end color to a darker blue, like that, and start color to a lighter blue, of course. Actually, let's change this one to not so dark. Yeah, that's much better. double click on our NE text. Let's just change, or rather let's just move. They're fine like that. I don't think we really have a problem there. We can just change the text, yeah, maybe to bold. But regular did well. Okay, after that we need to add the random text that will be manipulated. Okay, so for that we create a new layer by going to layer, new, solid. Let's call it numbers. Click OK, and then we are going to, now here is a fancy trick I wanted to show you guys, how to generate random numbers in After Effects. So we select our layer and then we go to Effect, Text, Numbers. Okay, this pops up this numbers window. We can simply leave the settings as they are. You can modify them if you wish. Click OK, and then change the, or rather tick the option which says random value, so that as we scroll, as you can see, it's giving us these random numbers in red. Okay, yeah, don't be worried, your PC is not going mad. It's simply doing what it's supposed to be doing. Okay, let's change the decimal values to 5, and the value of, let's enter a crazy number like 105030. Press enter. So now it gives us this huge bunch of numbers to work with. And then under display options, okay, let me make it bigger. Change it to fill over stroke so that it has an outline. And then fill color, well, choose yellow so that it appears well when we composite it. Stroke color, dark, please. Click OK. Size, we can now play around with its size by simply positioning it next to the N. As you can see, we can continue making it bigger, but as you can see, having a problem there. Press Ctrl Z again so that it gets back where it was. Let's change the position, yeah, to something like that. And then let's see what happens when we increase the size. Decimal values, let's enter maybe 6. Size, let's see. Stroke width, let's increase it a bit. Size again, I think we just need to make it a bit smaller. Yeah, that won't hurt much. Of course, you can always scale it up or down, but I don't see a problem with the way it is right now. So these are the kinds of numbers it will be generating. We just need a bit more spacing in between them. Let's go back to the options. Okay, the options won't help. Let's see. Let's see if we were to move the tracking. There we go. Yeah, position, let's move it a bit backwards. So there we have already our first set of random numbers that After Effects will be generating for us. As I said, don't worry, it's not, your PC is not going crazy. It's simply doing what the industry standard motion graphics is doing, thanks to the artist that's coming out of you, you know. Yeah. Select the numbers and press Ctrl D or Edit Duplicate to give us two sets of numbers, and then simply bring down its position downwards so that now it will act as the values for our Eastern values. And then let's change the random value offset to something different from the previous one, so that now we get two sets of totally different random numbers. We can always reduce it further or increase it further to bring about even more randomness. There we go. Yeah, so let's see the first one. If you try to squash it, yeah, the second one rather, yeah, as you can see, it's easy. You can simply squash down the scale so that it doesn't appear too big for our liking. There we go. So now you have random numbers being generated for the northern direction and random numbers also generated for the eastern direction. Let's go back to our white solid settings, and then you might always want to increase the brush size if you're not too happy with the way it looks, or you can always reduce it. Yeah, let's scroll again through the scene. There we go. And then let's quickly rename our, let's go back to our Istanbul layer, and then let's quickly rename it to dr Congo set nav, okay, so that we have a better understanding of what we are working on. So yeah, in the next section we are going to animate all these layers. I know this was a long process of getting all the assets together, but this is how a professional artist takes how a professional artist tackles projects like these. It creates assets that is going to use later in an animation or a production project. So yeah, see you in the next tutorial, where we actually animate all these layers to give us the nice zooming effect that we are working on. Okay, so see you in the next tutorial. Are you an aspiring artist? Do you want to discover some of After Effects' most advanced features? Do you really want to learn After Effects the way an artist, or rather the way artists from all over the world actually learn it? Well, there is a product for you to buy, Adobe After Effects Unmatched. With it, we cover 10 amazing video tutorials to teach you some of the advanced features and beginner level kind of features that are covered in this amazing software tool that we have, Adobe After Effects. So yeah, you can simply check it out by going to our online store or checking out our products page, in which we describe in full detail how this great DVD is going to help you, yes you, to boost your abilities so that you too can achieve amazing creative works like we show you here on our great website, Henrythejedi.com. Trust me, you won't regret it. It's actually better than going to college, you know. Considering the knowledge you are going to learn from it, seriously. So please guys, you want to boost your levels of intelligence with After Effects? You want to be more creative? You want to achieve more without breaking your leg? Well, After Effects Unmatched is there for you from www.henrythejedi.com. So please guys, check it out. And oh yeah, do you want to advertise something that you do? Do you want to advertise a service that you deliver? Maybe you just want to tell the whole world how good you are with your works. Well, you can always advertise with us today by going to henrythejedi.com/advertise, or simply click on our advertise banner there on all our main pages, so that you can see the info that we provide, so that you can also advertise with us today at henrythejedi.com, so that you can reach a broader audience with the product and services that you deliver. So once more, thank you for watching our free video tutorial of today.